We had the big moment, OpenAI, spring update, GPT 4.0. Very interesting, if you haven't seen this yet, about basically multimodal interaction with the AI, the way that we can now interact with this technology through voice, low latency, and the promise of a future that's much more intelligent and personalized the way that we interact with this technology. So I think this was a compelling update. Interestingly, did it the day before Google I/O. There's a battle going on here right now. Meta's in this battle, Anthropic is in this battle, has done some incredible work with Claude, and then now OpenAI really working with this interaction layer and how we interact with this intelligence, which I think is super important, super intriguing. And I like this update overall. I do feel like there is maybe a lot of coals in the fire here about different verticals and even customer sizes and levels that they're playing with, which, I mean, they've got a lot more resources than we do here at Speak AI, but from my experience, when you try to do too many things at once, you do get a little diluted, and it's a very hard thing to pull off. And even one of the things that they talked about in this update specifically was trying to give more access to free users, which I think is a noble thing, but there was a little bit of frustration from paid users who've been paying the whole time. And so even tension like that can happen. And then there's obviously, hey, I'm a person paying you $20 a month, a ChatGPT user, but hey, I'm an enterprise and I'm paying you $1 million per quarter. So don't you think we should get some better treatment, or should these releases not be tailored a little bit more to us? So I think that is something that could be some risk for them. I do think they're a pretty incredible team to be able to pull that off. But just yesterday, there was some debate and controversy with Ilya here now off the team. After almost a decade, I've made the decision to leave OpenAI. Nothing short of miraculous. And a nice picture here and everything. Lots of drama and stuff on the back end behind this shiny exterior on the front end, and maybe some debate or tension over Ilya's original intent, and then OpenAI is there. So pretty fascinating. Other people apparently now resigning, some pretty high-level people who are well-known within the industry and, of course, at OpenAI. So something happening there and bubbling under the surface that I don't think we're all fully aware of. Interesting announcement just from Anthropic, apparently joined by the co-founder of Instagram. I was wondering why they were trending. So head of product. So I do see maybe more commercial consumer approach from them. I'm very fascinated to see what takes place. So again, high levels of competition. Then we bring in Google I/O, and they had a day filled with AI content and some pretty incredible pieces into how this can interact with email, with your own workspace, some shots at Perplexity, perhaps. A lot going on with this AI race and technology space right now, basically blow by blow at each other, going intensely into features and innovations. And Google, with a lot of, I guess some people saying, catch up to play, but a case I think they've got a lot under the hood, and obviously are really responsible for some of the original innovations with AI and transformers as a whole. And they also talked about a huge breakthrough with AlphaFold and even some of their plans to commercialize that. So I think we still got a lot in the pipeline for Google. What is interesting is obviously there's people who are investing in this space. There's people who are building in this space. I am one of those people. I'm deeply fascinated in it. I've been working on it since 2019, and it goes all the way back to reading, I think, futuretimeline.net in a very early part of my life, looking at how technology was going to interface with us now and in the future. And I think the challenge now is with so much innovation at the core foundational level, coming from companies like Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, Cohere, Meta, that there's a lot of unpredictability in where you should invest, where should you spend your time, where do you even create value in this chain of interaction that's possible. And I think that unknown is creating also some tension as someone who's building startups. Anyone's feeling like, where do I go? Do I go super niche and vertical? Do I work on UI interaction layer because OpenAI and these companies can't do everything? What is this differentiating functionality that is going to drive value for myself and for the team that I'm working for and the company that we have? And one of these big examples has been Perplexity. They've come out and have really made an incredible UI layer for search here. But this doesn't look that much different than anything else. And even though they've raised a bunch of money and all of that great stuff, they are competing with Google, who can obviously watch this, replicate this very quickly, and then has huge distribution power and can just build this into everything. And we've seen a similar thing, Meta AI, with all their products now in every single, they've got the chat here. I don't know how many people are using that, but now you can see this embedded in your Instagram, in your Facebook, in everything. So they've got this huge advantage distribution wise. Generally, these companies are being rewarded consistently for these gains. We're seeing green across the screen here. If I click this open and expand, and what we're seeing is just these companies continue to dominate. Now Amazon in the red here today as I'm recording this, but did 100 billion in free cash flow. And if you just think of, there's companies trying to raise a couple $1 million right now, $100 billion left over after everything. Put that in a high interest savings and you're printing a lot of money every single day. It's like an unending, never stopping money printer that is very hard to shut off or disrupt or compete against. And I think we're seeing the same thing for these big companies. They're just sitting swaths of cash. A big fan of Anthropic Claude. I think it's incredible, intelligent technology. And there's been times when I've been working with ChatGPT in the latest version of code with GPT-4, struggled with that, switched to Claude, and it solved something very quickly for me. So I do think they have some work in some ways to do to catch up from the marketing and understanding of their value proposition and everything there, and even maybe their design. And I'm guessing that's where this co-founder from Instagram comes from. But the core technology seems to be very strong in intelligence. So just wanted to give them a quick shout out. I've really enjoyed using them there.